Okay, so here we go with the Citric Titration Lab. The amount that I'm using is 2.58 grams of the citric acid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my balance and I'm going to do it directly into my flask. I'm going to tare the balance, zero it, so that it's ignoring the flask. I'm going for, like my instructions, 2.58 grams. If I add it slowly, I can avoid going over. I'm going to slow down when I'm getting close. If you tap the spoon gently, little bits will drop. Not at 2 yet. Okay, 1.72. 2. Okay, I'm over 2 now, so I'm going to slow down. If I tap the spoon, little flecks are falling in. 2.23. 2.3. Seems like each time I tap it, it goes up just a little bit. It's going to take another spoonful. This will probably be the last spoonful. So I'm at 2.35. Let's see. What's that? 2.42. Very slowly. 7, 2.49, 2.50. Very close. 2.55. Just a touch more. Don't want to overdo it. 2.55. Not enough to change it by 100th. 0.57. Oh my gosh. I need a 100th of a gram more. Oh, 2.58. Boom. Okay, so I've got exactly what I need. So now I am going to add my distilled water, and my distilled water in a clean graduated cylinder. You know what? Just to avoid the chance that that could be contaminated, I'm going to pour my distilled water directly into this flask, and I'm going to pour it in until it reaches the 100 milliliter mark. That's how we define molarity. Not milliliters of solution, but liters of solution. And you know what? I'll be able to tell exactly how much water I've added from the mass here, because I've still got it on the balance. I don't want to get the balance wet, but because remember, think about the density of water. It's 1 gram per milliliter. Almost exactly. And the meniscus is just a hair below the line. Yes. Okay, there we go. So I've got 100 milliliters of solution, but guess how much water is in there? It wasn't 100 milliliters of water, because now it says on my balance, it says 98.68. So remember, 100 milliliters of water would be 100 grams, not to mention that I already had the 2.58, so what would that be? That would actually be 96.1. Interesting, right? That means I just put in 96.1 milliliters of water. That means if I had filled up and graduated to 100, I would have just a few milliliters left, and that's because the acid takes up volume 2. So now I got to stir it around. I noticed that a few flecks actually are up in the neck of the, this doesn't usually happen, up near the neck of the flask. So what I need to do is make sure all the acid winds up in solution to get a very accurate measurement. So notice how I'm not letting any spill out, and I got to make sure that stays in. Good. I think I got all the bits that were up, because when I was sprinkling it, some of them stuck to the side. And then what's the most important thing without which this experiment doesn't even work at all? Indicator, phenolphthalein. You know, the instructions say 4 drops. You know, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to add an extra drop. You're going to have to see it in the camera. Maybe an extra drop. Just put a few extra drops in there. Okay. So now, doesn't matter that much in terms of the exact number of drops. Okay, now I got to make sure that that indicator is in there. So why can't I see it? Why can't I see the indicator? I can't see it. Let me grab this other white placard just so you can see that this is in fact clear. It's because it only shows up in a base. That's the thing about phenolphthalein. It shows up when it's a base. And this is an acid, so it shouldn't show up. Okay. Now I don't want to put my flask right here, because while I'm filling the burette, Okay, things could spill in there, so I want to leave it off to the side. I want to put just sort of a waste beaker underneath just to catch whatever spills through. And this burette already was used for sodium hydroxide. So what I'm going to do really quickly, instead of following all the cleaning instructions, I'm just going to take 2 of these, squirt through, let it pour right through. Sometimes if you put too little in, it'll get pressure locked and not fall through. There we go. And now that's rinsed out. Let's say there was any water in there. Now I'm going to pour the sodium hydroxide. To save time, I'm going directly. No, I won't go directly. I'll pour it in here. It's funny to think that this little beaker can hold enough to fill this entire burette. I know it goes out of the camera field of view, but it's enough to fill this entire burette, this little tiny beaker. It's very deceptive what volumes are. So now I've got to shut my valve, and then I'm pouring it fairly slowly into the funnel at the top, which you can't see, and it's rising up rapidly, rising up rapidly. I'm going to try to go just a little bit above the 0. Maybe I'll just try to stop it on the 0. Okay, oh, I need a little bit more. Need a little bit more. I guess I didn't put in quite 50. This graduated beaker doesn't have the 50 listed on it. It doesn't have the 50 shown on here. So, okay, so I'm almost at 0. Oh, just above 0, okay. I just overshot it. So now what I'm going to do is pour a tiny bit out until it's resting on the 0. Oh, there it is, boom, exactly on the 0. Let me let that one fall, because I don't want that to be included in the titration. Just fall. It's funny how hard it can be sometimes to get the last drop to fall. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to begin my titration. So I've got my acid in here, okay? My base is in there, and now I'm going to begin to add it, okay? I'm going to add it kind of quickly because I have some idea where this is going to titrate. I don't really want you to do it quite that quickly when you're doing it, but notice how even quickly I'm ready to stop it. Okay, I got a really secure clamp here, but normally what I would suggest is holding onto your burette like this to avoid twisting it out. I've also set it up at an angle that it's less likely. So notice that color, bye-bye, okay? As I let it pour in, the color disappears rapidly. That means I'm nowhere near the titration. Remember, the reason you can see that purple is because right where it's purple, there is base. This is base, and of course, phenolphthalein shows you the base. But when that gets neutralized by the acid, then it returns to being an acid. So every time I'm doing this, there's a local base. It looks like there's a little storm inside there, a little swirling storm. I notice that I can only do this with my right hand. That's funny. If I try to do it with my left hand, it just doesn't work. It's funny. Okay, so notice that. And right hand, I better just use my right hand. So maybe I should use my left hand to control the burette. Gotta line it up. And let's see, where are we? Okay, so notice how it's lasting a little longer, so I better slow down a bit. Okay, I've also gone through a whole lot of milliliters. I did that rapidly, more rapidly than I would have liked you to do it, just because I had some idea ahead of time of what the titration would be. I have to turn these numbers now to face a little bit toward me, okay? Oh yeah, so now maybe I could do this with my left hand. That's interesting. Okay, so a little bit in, and then doesn't fill the volume. It's getting close though. So when it gets close to filling the volume, that's when you know you've almost titrated. Like if the color fills the entire space inside the flask, if the color fills it up, then you know that you've almost titrated. Okay, even if it disappears, and it's almost filling it, very close. Okay, so right now I'm all the way down to 42.6 milliliters, and I shouldn't add that much. Oh, it disappeared. Oh my gosh, it filled the whole volume. So that was a little reckless there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing down these numbers. Right now I'm at 44.1, just in case, so I know where I started seeing it fill the volume. It's always useful to have more information than less, right? So now what I want to do is add a little drop, few drops. Let's see if that does it too. Disappears. Do a few drops. I'm going to do like a few drops. See if that disappears. Fills the whole volume but disappears. So now I should probably go a drop at a time. Drop, drop, drop. Oop. That was more than I intended. Let's see if that disappears. Oh, I added 3 drops when I meant to add 1. Let's see if that is going to fade away. If I had added the 1 drop as I intended, it probably would have been a very faint pink, but it's still pretty close. And if I had added maybe 1 drop instead of 3, so now I've gone down to 44.7, so 44.7 milliliters. So it titrated maybe a drop or 2 before that, okay? And if I hadn't let those 3 drops fall instead of 1, so what I can do is I can double check that with my double check. If I prepare another flask with exactly half as much acid, then it should titrate in exactly half that volume. Okay? So let me pause the camera and prepare that and do that one, and then I know where it should titrate. It should titrate half of 44.7. Okay? So that would be like 22.3, or between 22.3 and 22.4 should titrate. So let's see if that's the case. I got to empty out this flask and then I'll start the next video. So you notice. Okay, so now I've prepared my double check, and is that the end of lunch? So now I've prepared my double check with half the amount, 1.29 grams of my acid. So I expect it to titrate at 22.3 milliliters. And I don't have a lot of time because the bell just rung to end lunch. So let's just see if I'm right. I'm going to go all the way down to, let's say like 21. And I did add my indicator, of course. And then I'll try to see if it's exactly, now this is crazy, right? 20, I'm at 19, 20. So you might say, what is he doing? But wait a second. Pretty cool, right? It still clears up because I haven't titrated it yet. It's just that the base wasn't contacting the acid. So what do I expect? 22.3? 22.3? Let's see. 20. That's still 21. I really don't have much time, so that's 22. This is right at 22. Oh my gosh, it's so close. So let's do a drop at a time. This time, sometimes it is hard to just let 1 drop fall in, especially if you're rushing. I keep putting in 2 drops. Probably going to do the same thing I did last time, but it's very close. And I'm at 22, or 22.05 is where I am. So let's see. Let's do drop. Oh, that second drop. Oh no. Oh, it's very faint. It's very, very faint. Well, the other drop, it's already gone through, so I'm just going to let it fall, but it's going to make it darker. Notice that before that drops, that is a very faint pink, hasn't disappeared. And, come on. Now this should do it. There we go. A little fainter than the last one. Now let's see what the volume is. A little fainter. And I don't think that's going to fade. I'm pretty confident. So that's a little bit better. So I think this is the more accurate titration. And my volume is 22.2. I expected it to be 22.3. Boom. That's a pretty good double check. And in fact, that's better. So notice how, even though I added those 3 drops when I didn't mean to, that told me pretty close where it was going to be. And then this one is the one I'm going to use for my calculations. So you can do that too, okay? Basically, you would just double that number. So I double it to as if it had titrated at 44.4. Get it? So, and then I have to consider whether it's a monoprotic and diprotic. I was going to check the conductivity and everything, but obviously I don't have time for that right now. So that's a pretty good titration. And people are banging at the door. Okay.